Before we get into the video, I want to show off this fancy duck I received from my aunt. Please leave name suggestions in the comments since I still need a name for him. Hey guys, I'm Simulator Tech, and today I'll be taking a look at the MKC75, a CNC'd aluminum 75% keywood that starts at $99 US. Maxed out, it can cost as much as $170, which still competes with boards like the Zoom 75 and QK75. My version is the variant with the hot swap PCB and PVD weight. Also, please remember that this is a prototype, so things are subject to change for the group by units. This board comes with a lot of accessories and little parts. This includes 2 types of silicone gaskets, a bunch of screws, spacers, stabilizer O-rings, adhesive feet, force brake strips, and a hex key. Though this board supports plateless mounting, my unit came with a palm plate. mykeyclub will produce FR4, aluminum, and brass flex cut plates, polycarb and palm non-flex cut plates, and aluminum and FR4 half plates, so there's going to be a lot of options. Also, avoid the aluminum and brass plates for wireless PCBs since apparently they affect the connectivity. This board also comes with a bit of foam. This includes an IXPE foam sheet, pour-on plate foam, and a paper-thin layer of pour-on case foam. I will be building this board in configurations with varying amounts of foam so we can see how it sounds. Next up is the PCB. Mine is the wired version without flex cuts and is 1.6mm thick. This PCB is basically perfect. It has soft-facing hot swap sockets, support for screw and stabs, a JST connector, a caps lock indicator, layout support for 7U spacebar tang in bottom row, step caps lock, and much more. The layout support, thickness, and flex cuts will depend on which of the 6 PCB versions you get, so be sure to check out the website for more information about each PCB before you make your decision. The knob and LED sign are both add-ons for the board. For the sake of simplicity, I won't be building my board with either of them, but there are pictures of them online if you want to see. They're also compatible with the JRS75, so if you happen to have extra stuff, you can use it on this board. Finally, at the bottom of the box is the case. My unit is anodized green with the PVD gold weight on the bottom. The finish of the case is absolutely insane for the price, and the internal aluminum weight looks nice as well, though it's only included with the tri-mode PCB as of right now. The rear weight has a cursive font spelling mykeyclub, which a lot of people apparently dislike. Personally, I think it's pretty nice, but hopefully MKC listens to its customers and changes it, or at least takes a poll to see how many people actually don't want it. Sorry to interrupt the video, but after filming, mykeyclub actually sent out a poll to see what weight design people want on the MKC75, so good on them for taking feedback from the community. Anyways, back to the video. Also, I'm really glad to see that the layout is not an exploded 75% and is instead more compact. I think it looks a lot better this way. This board uses 8 screws on the back to hold it together. It can use 3 different mounting methods, including a gasket mount via silicone sock gaskets that attach to the plate, a top mount where the plate screws into the top case, and another gasket mount via silicone columns that fit onto the PCB, allowing for plateless configurations. Alright, let's check out the other parts I'm using for this build. For stabs, I'm using some cherry clip-ins, which I've lubed with 205G0 on the stems and the wires. For switches, I'm using tecsee blue balloons. These are super snappy linears that I've lubed with 205G0, and they're very smooth and clean sounding. Finally, for keycaps, I'm using nice PBT British Racing Green. This is one of my favorite colorways of all time, and it matches the vibe of the case and weight really well. Since I'm going to try 6 different configurations of this board, I won't be showing you how I built it each time since that would take like 69 years, but here are the sound tests. Alright, so those were the sound tests. Predictably, the 3 mounting methods with all the foam sounded pretty similar, which I assume is the work of the PE foam, but the outlier for me was the plateless one, which had less ping in the mods than the other 2. I'm pretty happy there were no issues with plateless hot swap, but if you're going to try it, definitely use 5-pin switches for extra stability. Now for the configs with only plate foam, I found that the sound differences were much more noticeable between the different mounting styles. The plate gasket mount sounded alright, but a little bit thin, and the top mount had that distinct, almost dry sound associated with top mount boards. Again, the outlier in this case was the plateless config, which sounded really crisp and poppy, and the spacebar sounded absolutely heavenly. Obviously, these sound tests are only with the palm plate, so it's unfair to say plateless is the best, but out of these 6 configs, they were my favorite. In terms of feel, this board doesn't have much flex at all. The only one in which I noticed any give was again the plateless config with only plate foam, though to be fair, it still didn't have that much. Overall, this board is insane for the price. The case finish is flawless and very clean, and the keyboard as a whole looks very premium. Realistically, most people buying this board are going to be newer to the hobby, so they're going to want a hot swap PCB, raising the starting price to around $120. Before I go, I'm going to leave you guys with a sound test of the final configuration I settled on for my board. Thank you guys for watching, and thank you MKC for sending out the board. See you guys later. Bye!